On May 8th, Taiwan President Lai Ching-te attended a reception commemorating the 80th anniversary of victory in Europe Day and gave a speech.
If we truly cherish peace, we cannot remain indifferent to acts of aggression. While the outbreak of World War II in Europe was driven by the expansionist ambitions of authoritarian regimes, it was also enabled by the free world's complacency and inaction in the face of rising threats.
Lai Ching-te's remarks were widely interpreted as a call for European unity in resisting aggression, specifically targeting what he termed the new totalitarian group, a label clearly directed at authoritarian regimes like China and Russia. However, in his speech, Lai didn't mention the Republic of China's contribution during World War II in Asia. As the current president of the Republic of China, why would he choose to leave that part out? Welcome to MindGap. In this video, we'll take a closer look at the political logic behind this choice. Taiwan's historical identity during World War II is a complex and sensitive issue that continues to haunt its present-day political landscape. After the Qing dynasty lost the China-Japanese War of 1894 to 1895, it ceded Taiwan to Japan in accordance with the Treaty of Shimonoseki in 1895. During World War II, Taiwan was still under Japanese colonial rule. As a Japanese colony, Taiwan was effectively part of the Japanese Empire, and many Taiwanese were conscripted to fight for Japan and invade other countries. Simultaneously, the Republic of China under Chiang Kai-shek was one of the principal allied powers fighting against Japan on the Asian mainland. At its peak, up to 70% of Japanese ground troops were tied down in China, making it a major front that bought time for the Allies in the Pacific. Following Japan's defeat in 1945, Taiwan was returned to the Republic of China. And in 1949, Chiang Kai-shek and the Kuomintang retreated to Taiwan after being defeated by the communist forces in the Chinese Civil War. From that point, the ROC government in Taiwan continued to claim sovereignty over all of China, though its control was limited to Taiwan and a few surrounding islands. For decades, Taiwan was governed under martial law, with Chiang Kai-shek and his son Chiang Ching-kuo maintaining authoritarian control. It was not until the 1980s and 1990s that Taiwan underwent a gradual democratization process, culminating in its first direct presidential election in 1996. This transformation from a one-party state to a democratic polity further complicated the historical narrative, as the emerging pro-independence Democratic Progressive Party sought to distance Taiwan's identity from the ROC's history. Many Taiwanese, particularly older generations, view Japanese 50 years colony with a degree of nostalgia, perceiving it as a period of modernization and economic development. Some even identify themselves as descendants of the Japanese. The most striking example of this sentiment is former President Lee Teng-hui, the first democratically elected leader in Taiwan. Lee Teng-hui is a staunch pro-Japanese. He has Japanese name, has deep feelings for Japan, and even thinks in Japanese. The DPP capitalizes on this sentiment by recognizing Japanese rule as a form of governance that was distinct from the ROC, and by denying or downplaying the Republic of China's history before 1949. The DPP seeks to construct a Taiwanese identity that is independent of mainland China. In fact, some radicals in the DPP even deny the history of ROC before democratic election began, which they regard as the history of invasion by outsiders. This historical cognition leads to a paradox. If the ROC's wartime contributions are denied, Taiwan is left with a problematic historical identity as a Japanese accomplice in World War II. This is also the reason why Lai Ching-te, the DPP president, who once called himself a pragmatic Taiwanese independence worker, is unwilling to commemorate the Republic of China's victory in World War II. 4 DPP members, who long for Taiwan's independence, they don't recognize the Republic of China from the bottom of their hearts. However, due to pressure from both the United States and China, they don't dare to openly change the constitution to declare independence. Instead, after coming to power, they focus on gradually shaping a separate identity among the people of Taiwan. How do they achieve it? Under the DPP, Taiwan's educational curriculum has shifted significantly, reframing Taiwan's historical narrative within the broader context of East Asian history, while downplaying its historical connections to mainland China. Textbooks now emphasize Taiwan's local history and its interactions with Japan and Southeast Asia, rather than its past as part of the Chinese mainland. This reorientation is part of a broader effort to detach Taiwanese identity from the Republic of China framework. In the textbook, Japanese colonial rule is portrayed as a period of modernization and development rather than oppression, furthering the narrative that Taiwan was distinct from the Chinese mainland even during the ROC's era. In DPP's view, Japan is not an invader, but rather a developer who supposedly contributed to Taiwan's progress. However, once the issue of China-Japan territorial sovereignty is involved, the DPP becomes particularly embarrassed because of its pro-Japanese and anti-CCP stance. According to the constitution of the ROC, the Diaoyu Islands are the territory of the ROC. When the People's Republic China, PRC, and Japan are engaged in disputes over the Diaoyu Islands, the DPP and Taiwan government remain conspicuously silent, refraining from asserting ROC sovereignty. In essence, the DPP is less concerned with defending islands outside Taiwan proper. For Taiwan independence advocates, only the main island is Taiwan. While Taiwan's DPP seeks to deny ROC's history before 1949, the Chinese Communist Party is seeking to inherit the legacy of the pre-1949 Republic of China, crediting the victory in the War of Resistance against Japan entirely to itself. On May 7th, PRC President Xi Jinping arrived in Moscow to pay a state visit to Russia and attend the celebrations marking the 80th anniversary of the victory in the Great Patriotic War of the Soviet Union. During his conversation with Putin, Xi mentioned that the world cannot cover up the indelible historical contributions of China and Russia in World War II. Obviously, here China refers to the PRC, not the ROC. In the CCP's historical narrative, the Republic of China perished when the People's Republic of China was founded after the end of the Chinese Civil War in 1949. This revisionist approach serves two purposes. First, it undermines the historical legitimacy of the ROC, which was the internationally recognized government of China during World War II. Second, it consolidates the CCP's own narrative of being the savior of the Chinese people, thereby reinforcing its political authority. Therefore, the CCP doesn't recognize the history of the Republic of China after 1949. From a political standpoint, the CCP and the DPP, despite being ideologically opposed, are inadvertently aligned in their efforts to diminish the Republic of China's historical significance. The DPP refuses to acknowledge the history of the ROC before 1949, while the CCP erases the ROC after 1949. When the historical narratives of these two opposing forces collide, the Republic of China vanishes altogether. In addition to reshaping World War II history, the CCP has also sought to claim the legacy of Sun Yat-sen, the founding father of the Republic of China, as its own. The CCP emphasizes Sun's revolutionary ideals, presenting him as a precursor to the Communist Revolution. Meanwhile, in Taiwan, the DPP has increasingly distanced itself from Sun's legacy. Statues of Sun Yat-sen have been toppled or removed in various locations, reflecting a growing sentiment that views him as a symbol of mainland Chinese influence, rather than a legitimate part of Taiwan's history. This gives the Chinese Communist Party an opportunity to further appropriate Sun Yat-sen's legacy, portraying him as a foundational figure in the PRC's revolutionary heritage. Although the CCP and the DPP are enemies on the surface, they are probably each other's best political allies in secret. The political interplay between the CCP and the DPP is further exemplified by their mutual exploitation of public sentiment. When the CCP conducts military drills around Taiwan, it stirs up public anger within the island. Many Taiwanese view these displays as threats, further deepening hostility toward the mainland and fueling support for pro-independence DPP. Meanwhile, when DPP leaders like Lai Ching openly declare that Taiwan and China are two separate countries and are not subordinate to each other, it infuriates the people on the mainland, who see such statements as a denial of Chinese sovereignty and a direct challenge to national unity. Both sides, in effect, are reading from the same playbook, provoking outrage across the strait, stirring nationalist emotions at home, and using these tensions to secure internal political stability. From a political perspective, CCP and DPP appear to cooperate remarkably well. One erases ROC's past, the other denies its present. Perhaps one day, together, they will truly lay the Republic of China to rest. What do you think? Welcome to share your thoughts in the comments below. This is MindGap. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing. It really helps me a lot. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.